It is Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020, Election Day here in America, and this is your Three Gorges Dam update. We have two pieces of information to cover today, including, in a hyperpolarized world, it's hard to make sense of all the information we've received about the dam over the past 4 months. My thoughts, opinions, and more. We also have some information courtesy of Cakesy and Global. Let's hop into it. For over 3 months now, we've been covering the Three Gorges Dam. I wanted to find the truth about what has really happened at the dam, especially after witnessing several smaller earthen dams fail, some seemingly intentionally, and the historic amount of rain that China experienced this summer and fall. I wanted answers. Maybe the Three Gorges Dam is fine and has passed all the tests, but I honestly don't know how much I would personally be touting a just finished project that has deformed slightly, but I digress. Like the commenter stated on yesterday's video, the Global Times is known to act as a megaphone for Chinese government messages. I then decided to see what outlets like the Epoch Times, NTD, and China Uncensored had to say about the Three Gorges Dam. And I did find some information, but I had to know if their message, which is the complete opposite of what Chinese outlets are saying, is trustworthy. After further researching, I found an interesting video where Nathan Rich actually talks about the links the three publications have to Falun Gong, which some believe is more than just a religion, for meditation, only further muddying the waters. And at some point, I would love to do more videos about the problems I see with information in the modern world, but for now, back to the topic. So at this point, I was more determined than ever to learn more about the Chinese government and media. I quickly found an interview with a gentleman who owned a home in China, and this house was very prominent because he wouldn't sell it to the government, who was building a new road through town and bought up the entire neighborhood in order to make way. I instantly assumed that the residents wouldn't be given a choice to leave, but was surprised to see this gentleman's house still standing, with a road built around it. He went on to say that the government was only offering him around $27,000 or $28,000 for his home that he had over $60,000 invested in. He said he was holding out for more money. At this point in the video, I was thinking, okay, this seems fairly normal. In the US, my dad's neighbors had to sell their homes when the interstate was coming through. Granted, they didn't just build it around homes that was holding out, but some of them held out and negotiated for more money and ultimately sold. But then I was immediately slapped back into the stark reality we live in, as I watched the man begin to act scared and finicky. He then said he was worried he would get into trouble for talking to them, and a short time later the Chinese authorities actually showed up and shut the interview down. The homeowner refused to talk any further with them, although the crew was able to get confirmation that the man eventually sold his home. Who can we trust? Where is the news without the spin from the people on the ground? Unfortunately, my own beautiful nation isn't immune to the very same infrastructure issues. On May 19th, 2020, about 140 miles northwest of Detroit, the Edenville Dam and the Sanford Dam failed. These dams were owned by the Boyce Hydro Company, which had been cited numerous times for their failures to properly maintain the structures. I am not a proponent of taking away people's private property, but when the property is dams with literally years of documented evidence of neglect, maybe we should make an exception. After all, there's been plenty of other Americans that have seen their land, let's just say, borrowed by our fine institutions as well. Inspecting dams on a regular basis seems like common sense, but somehow, like a scene straight from the movie Idiocracy, each inspector in America has over 200 dams to analyze and ultimately sign off on. If a practical plan is not implemented, Companies like Boyce Hydro will continue to operate with only their own personal interest in mind. Now a quote from Tom Smith. "We need to be more proactive and not reactive," said Tom Smith, the executive director of the American Society of Civil Engineers. "Our infrastructure is critical to our quality of life and to life itself, but we have failed to adequately invest in and maintain our infrastructure." The cost of repairing dams across the country could top $20 billion, Smith said, roughly 2,000 times more than the federal government earmarked for that purpose in its most recent budget. "It's expensive, but the cost of skipping repairs could be much higher," Smith said. "There is a terrible cost to failing to invest." It is tough to contend with Mother Nature. Mankind as a whole has a desire to conquer the elements, cultivate our own domain, and blaze our own trails. That's amazing and can't be overlooked. Many of these hydro projects have brought great economic returns for their communities in the form of lakes, electricity, and stored water. But unfortunately, with every luxury these mega projects provide, there also lies the potential for an equally adverse reaction. Let's be perfectly honest for a second. You don't have to look far to see instances of poor infrastructure around the world. These issues aren't just a China issue or a US issue. There are instances dating back hundreds of years of hydro infrastructure projects not withstanding the test of time. But in my research, I found that for every one Mother Nature strikes down, there's also evidence of the same happening for reasons that could have been prevented, like skipping on materials and ignoring issues and warnings. Thank you for watching this video. If you're finding it informative, please consider giving the channel a subscribe. And now a series of snippets from a new Caxian Global article about the Three Gorges Dam. And I think that's a good place to wrap up today's video. I hope that you found it informative, and check back soon for more content.